Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of colors by soldiers from the 766th Engineer Company, U.S. Army Reserves, based in Fort Lauderdale. Among its many duties, the company participates in Ardent Century to prepare and respond to natural disasters. We thank them and all of you who are veterans for your service to a grateful nation. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Jim Zacconi, a past president of the New Jersey Building Officials Association.
Those of you that are veterans out there are permitted to salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our national anthem vocalist, 13-year-old Julia Dale, has performed the Star-Spangled Banner at the National Basketball Association Finals, which was televised nationally, and at regular season Miami Heat and Miami Marlins games. She also has performed in cabaret and theater productions, as well as charity events. She has been enrolled in performance-related classes since the age of 2. Please rise for the national anthem of the United States of America, sung by South Florida's Julia Dale.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please remain standing for the invocation led by the Most Reverend Thomas Wensky, Archbishop of Miami. In addition to his service to the Church and humanitarian causes, the Archbishop speaks several languages and often preaches and celebrates Mass in English, Creole, and Spanish. Archbishop?
And we will pray in English. Let us pray. O good and gracious God, in Psalm 127, we pray, if the Lord does not build a house, in vain do its builders labor. Lord, watch over these men and women of ICC and the vital work they do to assure the well-being of the communities they serve. May we never ignore or exclude from our consciousness your presence, for as we read in the book of Proverbs, it is the Lord's blessing that brings wealth, and no effort can substitute for it. Your servant and prophet Micah has instructed us in these words. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, to act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. May we, walking humbly with you, know your justice and your mercy. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the International Co-Council Board of Directors, Mr. Stephen D. Jones.
Good morning. I hereby call the 2014 Annual Conference of the International Code Council to order. On behalf of your Board of Directors, I welcome you all here in person and those watching on the webcast to our annual conference and to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The great state of Florida and its jurisdictions show support for building and safety code officials in many ways. Guys, you can sit. It's okay, really. What power? All right, take a breath, calm down. The state of Florida supports life safety in the built environment through strong building codes, its many disaster mitigation programs, and requirements for licensed construction industry professionals. Florida has the longest coastline in the contiguous United States, encompassing approximately 1,350 miles. Since 1851, only 18 hurricane seasons have passed without a known storm impacting the state. The cumulative impact from these storms totaled over $115 billion in damage, primarily from Hurricane Andrew and several hurricanes in 2004 and 2005. Investigations following those hurricanes demonstrated that new buildings using the stronger structural provisions of the Florida Building Code and improved resilience and sustainability. Building codes have been mandatory in Florida since the 1970s. The first statewide building code, the Florida Building Code, went into effect March 1st, 2002. Since 2003, the Florida building codes have been based on the international building, residential, mechanical, plumbing, fuel gas, and existing building codes amended to Florida's specific requirements. Florida has required state licensed building officials, inspectors, and plans examiners since 1993. Requirements for licensure include experience and an examination through ICC. Florida's ISO rating for the Building Code Effectiveness Grading Schedule is second to none. Strong building codes, knowledgeable design professionals, competent contractors, and well-trained building code professionals have created a strong building code system protecting Florida residents and the millions of visitors who journey to the state each year. Our host city, Fort Lauderdale, is an ICC governmental member. To welcome us this morning it is my privilege to introduce the Honorable Jack P. Seiler, the Mayor of Fort Lauderdale. Mayor Seiler is an attorney and served 6 years in the State House of Representatives prior to his election as mayor. His commitment to public service includes serving on the boards of directors of the Florida League of Cities and the Orange Bowl Committee. Mayor Seiler has been recognized by numerous organizations for his outstanding work as a lawyer, legislator, volunteer, and community advocate. He is a recipient of the Florida Justice Association's Rosemary Barkett Award for outstanding demonstrated commitment to equal justice under the law, the Broward County Community College Award in appreciation of his efforts on behalf of education, the Coastal Conservation Association of Florida Award, and the 2005 Area-Wide Council on Aging Legislative Leadership Award. Under the mayor's leadership, Fort Lauderdale includes code enforcement and building permit activity as big data in its first-of-a-kind crime prevention program. The idea is to better position the city to evolve from a jurisdiction that responds to crime to one that has the skills and operational resources to prevent crime before it happens. Over 65% of the city's general fund's budget is dedicated to public safety through police, fire rescue, and code enforcement. As we will be looking to make final changes to the International Green Construction Code this week, you will find it noteworthy that Fort Lauderdale is certified as a Florida Green local government by the Florida Green Building Coalition. Please welcome the Mayor of Fort Lauderdale, the Honorable John P. Jack Seiler.
Well, good morning. It's awful hard to follow an archbishop and a young lady that sings like that, I'll tell you. Pretty darn impressive. First of all, let me welcome you all to Fort Lauderdale. We are delighted you chose Fort Lauderdale. We're delighted you're here. And we're hoping that you continue to spend time here in Fort Lauderdale because we're a city that loves to host people. We love to make people feel at home here. And as you mentioned, we're actually now a certified green city. We have started back when I first took office back in 2009. We immediately created a sustainability committee and started working with our residents, our neighbors, and with our city employees to create a city that was resilient, that focused on sustainability and focused on addressing climate change. So we're pretty excited about the direction we're heading. I want to thank you for coming, but I also want to thank you for your service. Interesting thing, I was having a conversation yesterday, and I mentioned to a group of kids where I was going in the morning. I said, I got to do a quick welcome before I have to run by a school. And they said, well, what's the ICC? And as you tried to start to explain it to them, I realized it's quite simple. They keep you safe, they protect you, they make sure that we live in a very, very safe society. And for that, I think we need to thank you, not because of the elected officials, but because of our neighbors in our community, because of the people that day in and day out benefit from the work you do, and they don't even realize you're doing that work. When you think about what the group here assembled here does day in and day out, we would not function as a society without you. We would not have the prosperity we're having. We would not have the level of success that we have as a community without somebody focusing on keeping us safe, making sure we comply with codes, making sure we use best practices. And that's what you all do. So as I thank you, I also want to present a little challenge to you. Here in Fort Lauderdale, we've got about 4,200 housing units coming in the next couple years. We've got over 5,000 units that are in some stage of design, review, planning, permitting, or construction. We have that happening at the same time we're focusing on climate change. And I'm so pleased to see next year, 2015, you're going to be focusing specifically on this. There is no way that we can do all this building without focusing on the future. Because whether you agree with how climate change is happening, and people don't always agree on how it's happening, but everybody agrees it is happening. They understand that we are having issues with climate change, and we need to be prepared. And I think the forefront of that preparation is here in this room. The forefront of that preparation are you all who are going to be focusing on what we do, how we build, where we build, at what height do we build, and it's the experts in this room that are going to lead us forward. So as you have to realize that the challenge is upon you As this building boom, the economy's back. I can tell you it's back. We have the lowest unemployment rate in the state of Florida of every major metropolitan area. We can't find construction workers. But before those people can go to work, you all need to make sure things are done right and done properly. So, take this challenge. Realize that the next 2, 3, 4 years are going to be extremely difficult as you try to balance updating the codes, maintaining the codes, enforcing the codes, complying with the codes, and everybody and their brother saying, well, we want to build something. We want to go higher, we want to go bigger, we want to go bolder, and it's up to you all to do that job. And so on behalf of the city of Fort Lauderdale and our neighbors, thank you. Thank you for being here today, but more importantly, thank you for your service to your communities. Thank you for your service to our communities, and I hope you all have a wonderful week here in the city of Fort Lauderdale. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Seiler, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us this morning, and we thank you for your commitment to building safety and Fort Lauderdale being an ICC member. We have continued to tweak and improve our conference offerings to enhance your experience. Many of the changes are in response to suggestions made by our members and other conference attendees. While there have been adjustments, the focus remains on training, certification, and code development. The first change you will probably notice is that this year the annual conference is 2 days instead of 3. One reason for the shorter schedule is to address your feedback that is difficult to justify being away from the office, and not to mention the travel cost associated. The conference will continue to include quality training, opportunities to support you in the workplace, and earn or renew certifications to help you advance your career. There are fewer course offerings, but the subject matter is focused on core learning. Training will be held tomorrow. Certification examinations will be administered on Wednesday and Thursday, twice a day. In addition to training and certification, with the ever-changing job market, job hunting skills are becoming more and more important. In the past few years, we have shared the pain with colleagues who have seen their jobs disappear. At this year's conference, we have 2 resume clinics where pros in the employment field will review and offer advice on resumes, cover letters, and customized job searches. If you missed yesterday's clinic, there is another one this afternoon from 3 to 7. It is customized for ICC members, and you will receive an in-depth advice from experts specializing in the building, planning, environmental, engineering, and construction industries. Today's networking luncheon is also aimed at supporting your career. You will learn from experts from Sequence Staffing how to build and maintain relationships in person and on social media that could result in new jobs or discovering professional opportunities. And of course, by attending the conference, you have an opportunity to discuss and exchange ideas with your peers, colleagues, and friends, as well as opportunities to make new acquaintances who will be professional resources and also new friends. One thing we hear from our post-conference survey is the importance of networking and how valuable the conference is to expand your professional and personal contacts. Meeting new people at the conference often results in lifetime relationships. We have added a new members forum to this morning's opening session, where we will discuss several matters of interest to the membership and, of course, ample opportunity for you to ask questions and to make comments. I hope you took advantage last night of the opportunity to meet the candidates for board officers and directors. A report from the nominating committee will be presented prior to the board elections during the annual business meeting, which will be held right after this opening session. The ABM is scheduled to begin at 10:15. We expect these changes will result in less being more. Please let us know what you think. Your feedback is always welcome, needed, and appreciated. This year, we celebrate another milestone in the history of our association, the 20-year anniversary of the birth of the International Code Council. Allow me to provide a quick history lesson. In 1915, the first Model Code organization was established to provide a forum for exchange of ideas regarding building safety and construction regulations. 2 more Model Code organizations were established in 1920 and again in 1940. The ICC was created in 1994 with a focus to develop a single set of comprehensive, coordinated model construction codes that could be used throughout the United States and around the world. The first ICC code was published in 1995. It was the International Plumbing Code. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the formation of the ICC. Traditions serve as important mileposts to highlight accomplishments. As is our tradition, I would like to recognize our Master Code professionals, past board members, honorary members, first-time attendees, and all members of the International Code Council. Members who are first-time attendees have navy blue ribbons on their badges. I encourage all members to be willing mentors to our first-time colleagues. First-timers, in addition to your peers, don't hesitate to seek out the ICC staff. They are readily available to assist you, as am I and my fellow board members. As is our tradition, I'd like all the first-timers to stand so we can proudly welcome you to your first International Code Council conference. First-timers? Woohoo! Thank you sincerely for being with us this year. ICC honorary members have earned their standing for rendering outstanding service to the ICC. Would the honorary members please rise to be recognized? The Master Code Professional is the highest level of certification the Code Council offers. Thousands of individuals have earned ICC certifications, but only a small number have attained the highest level of certification. Just over 800 individuals have Master Code Professional status. With those of you who have achieved the Master Code Professional certification, please stand and be acknowledged for this remarkable professional accomplishment. I also want to recognize the past presidents of the International Code Council who are here. Frank Hodge, Henry Green, Wally Bailey, Steve Shapiro, Adolf Zubia, Ron Lynn, James Brothers, William Dupler, and of course our own Ron Peaster. Would you please stand? Please stand. Your leadership and vision has helped to make us the successful association we are today. Thank you for your support of the Code Council and your invaluable service. And with the past ICC board members, as well as those who served on our legacy organization as presidents or board members, also please stand. In recognition of all of our members and our association, would you please stand and join me in a round of applause for these men and women who have volunteered their time and expertise to serve you and serve the International Code Council. Plus, that helps to get the blood flowing this hour of the morning. On the global front, we have conference delegates with us from outside the United States representing Abu Dhabi, Australia, Canada, the Cayman Islands, China, Indonesia, Japan, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom. If you've traveled here from outside the United States, please stand so we can acknowledge you. I'm sure Australia is pleased that Skog has gone to Canada. Thank you. There's always one in every crowd. We also are extremely honored to welcome our colleagues from the World Organization of Building Officials who are celebrating the 30th anniversary of their organization's first conference. The WOBO Board of Governors meeting is being held in conjunction with our annual conference. WOBO was founded to fill a void and satisfy a number of needs as an organization of building officials to deal with global issues that began to emerge in the 1970s. In April 1981, a conference was held in Vancouver, British Columbia to plan what was to become the first International Building Officials World Conference. It took place 30 years ago. Would the representatives present from WOBO please stand? Hello? I know they're here. Maybe they just haven't made it this morning. I also thank and recognize all the local chapter volunteers representing the Building Officials Association of Florida, who have been working for more than a year playing a significant role in planning and making this conference possible. We could not do this without the support of all the chapter leaders and all of its members. Thank you for your contributions toward making this year's conference a success. Will the members of the Building Officials Association of Florida please stand? I also thank all of our colleagues throughout the state of Florida for their commitment to building safety and building safer, more resilient communities. As we all know, safety plays a significant role in our chosen professions. We know the importance of taking the time to review emergency preparedness just in case an emergency arises during our conference and hearings. ICC has designated crowd control managers in compliance with the International Fire Code. Bob LaCosta, construction official for the Township of Scotch Plains, New Jersey, is one of our honorary crowd control co-leaders, and he will explain the procedures. Bob?
All right, good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. Should an emergency situation arise during our conference or hearings, we want you to be sure that you are prepared to make a safe evacuation. Even though most of us do this out of habit, let me remind you to just take a moment when you enter the room to locate the exit signs in the exit closest to you. This conference center is equipped with an automatic fire alarm notification system. The audible alarm sound is a 3-temporal pattern and a visual strobe light for the hearing impaired. Should the alarm sound during the conference, please exit the building using the closest and safest exit. Once outside the building, please move away from the building and await further instructions from ICC or conference center staff. My co-leader for this safety initiative is Roger Herron, Fire Marshal for the Monarch Fire Protection District in Missouri. And thank you. Our honorary crowd managers are Amber Armstrong, Commercial Plan Review Specialist at the City of Edmond, Oklahoma. Oh, there she is. Okay, thank you. Also, Paul Demers, Code Enforcement Officer for the town of Kennebunk, Maine. Thank you. Bob Latz, Building Official for the City of Lincoln, California. All right, Robert Marshall, Fire Marshal for the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District in California. Thank you. Christine Rose, Plans Reviewer for the City of Fargo, North Dakota, Inspections Division. And Larry Scorselli from the New Jersey Meadowlands Commission. Thank you, Larry. These building and fire officials from around the country will assist the conference center staff with an evacuation should emergency occur. We thank these volunteers for their assistance. Enjoy your time in Fort Lauderdale and be sure to always have safety in mind. Okay, Mr. President.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you to all our crowd managers. It is now my privilege to introduce my fellow board members who have served me honorably and your interest during the past year. Please hold your applause until they have all been introduced. Board members, please stand as I call your name and remain standing until the entire board is introduced. Immediate past President Ronald Peaster, Vice President Guy Tomberlin, Secretary-Treasurer Alex Olszewski. From our host state of Florida, Director Robert Bauer, Director Jim Brown, Director William Bryant, Director Rob Drexler, Director Jay Elbitar, Director Dwayne Garris, Director Gilbert Gonzalez, Director Ron Hoover, Director Pat Parsley, Director Tina Rakes, Director Ravi Shaw, Director Richard Truitt, Director Lynn Underwood, and Director Greg Wheeler. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2013-2014 International Code Council Board of Directors. I thank my fellow board members for their commitment and due diligence as stewards of the association. Okay, guys, now you can sit. Their leadership and willingness to think outside the box has helped us overcome very trying economic times and continue to provide valuable membership benefits. They are keenly focused on serving on behalf of all of ICC's members. It is a true team effort, and that I'm proud to be part of that team. The Code Council's subsidiary organizations, the ICC Evaluation Service and the International Accreditation Service, offer valuable services to code officials, manufacturers, and others in the construction industry. ICC-ES is the leader of technical evaluations of building products for code compliance, providing regulators and construction professionals with clear evidence that products comply with the codes and standards. With the ICC Evaluation Services Board of Managers and ICC-ES President Shaheen Mahoinen, please stand. Where are you? In the back, okay. Our International Accreditation Service is the leading accreditation body for building safety in the United States. It verifies worldwide the competence of organizations to ensure compliance based on industry standards. With the International Accreditation Service Board of Directors and IAS President Chuck Romani, please stand. There he is in the back. Hi, Chuck. While we look to the future for new challenges, it is important to remember our friends and colleagues who are no longer with us. Let's pause for a few moments to remember and honor those who have passed away but left a permanent legacy with their communities, friends, and colleagues. We know that there may be names of others that were not submitted to us in time for this tribute. We will have a resolution presented later this morning during the annual business meeting to further recognize those colleagues who are no longer with us, but are always in our thoughts.